Time now for another Around the CHL segment, and we are checking in on the West Division in the Ontario Hockey League with Dominic Hennig, the voice of the Flint Firebirds, division containing Flint, the Windsor Spitfires, Saginaw Spirit, Sarnia Sting, and Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. Tight three-way race right now atop the division. Is this what was expected?
I think it's a surprise for everybody, and of course, going to be back on the show here. Just talking with others around the league, this is only my 5th year in the Ontario League. I've reached out to other people who have either been GMs or head coaches over 20 years, and I said, have you ever seen a conference this close? I know you're looking at just the West Division right now, but in the OHL's Western Conference, from first place to 8th place is a difference of 5 points. You would get swept on a weekend and be first place and almost be out of a playoff spot. In the OHL, there's 10 teams in the Western Conference, 10 teams in the Eastern Conference, and the top 8 teams in both conferences make playoffs. So literally, you lose 2 games, you can go from first place to 8th. I think it seems absolutely ludicrous. So I had to ask others around the hockey world who have been in this league a lot longer than I have, and everybody said they've never seen it this tight before.
That is very exciting. Right now, Windsor, Flint, and Saginaw are atop that pile, but quite a pile it is. Of course, we always like to highlight big names playing around the CHL. One first-round draft pick in the NHL playing in your division, and it's someone you're very familiar with, Ty Dellandrea, draft pick of Dallas, playing with the Flint Firebirds. Tell us about him as a player, and does he have a chance to represent Team Canada at the World Juniors this coming Christmas?
Yes, I think he will make that team this year. I think he'll be a 3rd or 4th line center on Hockey Canada's roster. But when it comes to Ty Dellandrea, boy, what a special human being he is, and I'm just so blessed and fortunate to have him on our team to work with game in and game out. As a player, I would say he is everything you would want a complete package. This is a guy who is a character person off the ice, on the ice. He's a leader. He's our captain right now. This is a guy who just set the Flint Firebirds franchise record for goals scored on Wednesday night. He had a hat trick, surpassed Ryan Moore, who was out on the East Coast there with the Newfoundland Growlers, a former Flint Firebird as well. But Dellandrea now leads the team in goals, assists, and points. So he has really come on since drafting him in the first round, 5th overall in the 2016 OHL draft. And off the ice, he's fantastic. On the ice, he's great. He can score. He can thread the needle. He's played an NHL preseason game. He is a total pro, and we're just so happy to have him.
Like to touch on some of the marketing initiatives that different teams around the CHL undergo and ideas that they pitch and whatnot. You have to tell us about how Dog Night went in Flint. Was there any difficulty with that, being in an enclosed arena? How did that go over with the fans?
It's incredible. I have, the very fortunate luxury to do the social media for the Flint Firebirds, and I saw total mixed reviews. You see people come out of the woodworks and say this is a fantastic idea, that you see people say this is the dumbest idea ever. But my response is, A, we're talking about one of the first few games in the States when it's all football and football only, right? We're an hour from the University of Michigan, who gets 110,000 fans on a Saturday, and Michigan State gets 75,000 on a Saturday, and the Lions, the NFL, get 75,000 on a Sunday. Even our high school football teams get 5,000 to 10,000 on a Friday night. That blows Canadians' minds, but that's what we have to fight here. So you have to come up with crazy and creative things, and I would say it was a success for year number 1. There were people who have never been to a Firebirds game that came out, and some people said we were crazy, but we weren't the innovator of this promotion. It's done at every level. The Grand Rapids Griffins, who are the Detroit Red Wings American League team, they get 9,000 a night. They sell out their crowd, and they still do these dog games. So a lot of people were very vocal that weren't happy with it. There were also a lot of people that were very vocal that were happy with it. I would say, are we going to do it again? Yes, we'll be doing it again next year.
I don't know if you'd be even qualified to answer this. If it's done by a baseball or football team, it's out in the open air. Is there a concern with allergies inside? How does that work?
I guess no, not really. I think we publicize it, and for those fans that might have an allergy, maybe they stay home that game. And when we create a promotion, it's to get new people who aren't currently coming to the games. And of course, don't forget, we're a brand new franchise, so we have to find all different ways to capture a new fan base. We haven't been around like the Oshawa Generals for 85 years, the Kitchener Rangers, and the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. For us, it is kind of a concern, but we also have every base covered. There's relief areas at certain doors. Sections are right by the exit doors, and there's added security, there's added maintenance, there's added custodian. Every little small detail is thought out, and I can tell you we pass with flying colors, not one issue.
Very interesting. You mentioned being, I guess, in a non-traditional market. How much interaction is there with Saginaw? Am I understanding correctly, if you buy season tickets to one, you get tickets to the away games in the other arena? Is that a thing between the two franchises?
Well, that's what we did in Flint. We offered that to their fans as well, and their front office has gone with only giving it to their business and corporate partners that option. But for us, we're really trying to create that rivalry for your listeners. Flint and Saginaw are just 35 minutes separate on one highway, Interstate I-75 in Michigan. So it's two cities that have gone back to the 60s in hockey and back in the IHL and the UHL days and pro hockey when it was a big fighter league. So Flint and Saginaw have a huge hockey tradition. The difference is this is a blue-collar town, as I'm sure your listeners know this. The new change in the style of gameplay, let's just say, isn't very Flint acquainted. This is a city who's been through tough times, and they loved the pro hockey and the fights and whatnot. And this is now a finesse league and 16-year-old boys and skill and no fighting. So it's another challenge we face, but it comes with it. And of course, I would say it's probably, in my opinion, I think it's the loudest building in the league. I think it's the best atmosphere in the OHL, and when it gets even three-quarters packed. And I got facts and statistics to prove it, but I'm a big fan of games in Flint, and I think it's a good hockey town for the Ontario Hockey League and for Major Junior.
Well, fans there have been waiting to see a winner, and they're certainly seeing one this year. A number of players threatening to go in round one at the NHL draft. Cole Perfetti, a forward in Saginaw, looks like a lock, but a quartet of players I've seen bandied about. You have Jacob Perreault in Sarnia, yes, is Yannick Perreault's son, Yermer Pitlick in Sault Ste. Marie, Jean-Luc Foudy in Windsor, and Ryan O'Rourke in Sault Ste. Marie. Focusing on Perfetti, but tell us the chances the others have of cracking into that first round.
Let's not even forget about Quinton Byfield, and I know you're just looking at the West Division. Byfield was just through here the other day, and Flint was the first and only team to shut him down. He was pointless when he came into Flint. It speaks a lot about where Flint has come as an organization. Cole Perfetti, I'm a big fan of. I think he should go top 5, top 10 in the NHL draft. He's a small guy, kind of reminds me like Patrick Kane does Cole Perfetti. Perreault, great player. I'm a big fan of Perreault and what he's come up with as well.
And that was part one of our conversation about the OHL West Division with Dominic Hennig. We'll hear part two tomorrow. You're listening to the intermission of Carstar, Cape Breton Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.